All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday. How are you?
Good, thank you. Excited.
I know. I probably had you come in a little early than usual, right?
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
but we definitely appreciate you being here. So thank you very much, Cheryl, for doing this. I know when I reached out to you, you were a little bit shocked. It's like, why is Simon calling me? And when I text you, I says, hey, I'd love for you to be my guest speaker on Friday's Producers Club. And you hesitated a little bit, you
Yeah,
know? It's like, oh my God, it's an honor, but it's also I'm a little nervous.
a lot of nervous.
Yeah, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. There's a lot of people that just don't feel comfortable being in front of a camera. But again, you're a trooper,
Thank you.
and I really appreciate you. So let's go right into it. So
Sure.
tell us a little bit of you, and then we'll pivot into why you got into real estate and all the fun stuff that you've created. You also became a capper last year.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And that's a milestone, and that's a big step, because we all want all of our agents to become producing agents, right? But more so, the fact of capping and being 100% of your commission, that must feel really good. Is
Yeah.
now I can go out and close more deals, and not, I know that I'm going to earn more money.
Yes.
So introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sherelle Richardson. I'm a realtor here, of course, with the South Bay office. Born and raised here in Southern California. I've been in real estate. I'll have my 2-year anniversary, I guess, in March.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah. So 2 years. So why did you choose real estate?
It's something I've always wanted to do. I've always worked in and around real estate. I've been in mortgage lending,
Okay.
construction, land development, and then now here I am,
So
real
you
estate.
used to do loans.
I used to actually be a loan closer, a loan funder in the hot seat.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, that was so much fun. I just that is a heavy job in that the pressure that you have to get the loans closed and funded usually by the end of the month. So
Mhm.
it's just the hot seat.
Yeah.
Everyone's interested in the funder, right? Like,
Right. Right. Right.
get my loan closed.
Yeah. So the pressure is really, so you know what pressure means.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know what that feels like because you've been in that hot seat.
Hmm.
So, what made you get into that line of work?
Just curiosity. So my first job coming out of high school was a bank teller.
Okay.
So I was a bank teller and I just stayed in and around finance and real estate the entire time, my entire work career.
Got it.
Hmm.
So when was that pivotal point in your career? I'm going to switch from lending and go into real estate.
So I was in land development with the industrial developer, and I loved when we would get into contract. And for industrial development, it's a little more complicated, right? There may be zoning changes. You have to work with the city, introduce yourself with the city. So we would do from land purchase through to a delivering a complete building. But my favorite part was always through the purchasing. So
Got it.
I just decided I needed to get on the sales side.
Yeah.
I like real estate. That's what I learned. I love it actually. So,
Well, and especially when you were in the lending, obviously you were talking to a lot of agents as well, because they're part of that group as well.
yes.
Like you mentioned, brokers as well.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the pivotal point that you decide, you know what, interesting. Maybe I should kind of look into that.
Yes, I've always loved it. I mean,
Yeah.
as a little girl, we drive down the street and we
Yes.
pick our house.
Okay.
That's the house I'm gonna buy. That's the house I'm gonna live in. I've just always have loved real estate.
You
It's
know,
so weird.
that resonates with me. Can I share a story?
Yes.
You know, back in the 80s when I was just a teenager, I had a moped or a scooter. It was an actual moped. And, at the time I was living in the San Gabriel Valley. And so I was that curious George type of guy where I wanted to explore different areas. So I would take my scooter and just drive around neighborhoods. And I happened to fall in love with a specific neighborhood in
Mm-hmm.
the San Gabriel Valley, which is south of Pasadena, called San Marino.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went into that San Marino community, I was like taken back. It's like one day I'm going to move in here. It was just fascinating. The houses were huge, the lots were big, and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
this is an area that I can see myself, envision myself being. So that's kind of what intrigued me about, real estate. So kind
Yeah.
of echoes of what you're telling me as
Yeah.
well, picking and choosing that house. That's the house that I'm going
Yeah.
to move into sometime in the future, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great, great, great. So now let's push forward. You decided to get your real estate license. How was
Yes.
that experience? Was it easy? Was it hard? Or was it just like smooth sailing?
Well, I did participate with the coaching here while I was studying for my real estate license. It wasn't so hard. It was strange a bit because there were words and terms that I didn't know existed, if that
Mm,
makes sense. There's some
yeah.
real estate words I just didn't know existed. So it was fun to learn new vocabulary altogether.
Yeah. It's funny because, for a lot of us, I remember my instructor, because I went the old school way.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go through a real estate school. I went to college to get my certification. So it took me a semester long just to get principles, a semester long to get practice. But regardless, I got the certification. But one of my instructors, you know, he was, how could I put it? He was a storyteller,
Mm.
and I remember the first day in class, he was in front, big man,
Mm-hmm.
6'8",
Mm.
probably over 300 pounds. He looked like a football player.
Mm-hmm.
And his voice would just echo. And he stood up in the front of the class, and this was a full house. I mean, we had a bunch of people in class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we all had to, have at least the book, because back then in the early '90s, we had books.
Yeah.
Technology now, right? So he ended up getting the book, and it was real estate practice.
Mm.
He got the book, and he went like this. He goes, "Guys, all see this," and everyone said yes. And then as soon as he dropped the book down, he walked to the trash bin and then threw the book in the trash, literally. And everyone was kind of like, "What is going on? Is he quitting?" Then he came back and he says, "Look, my style is going to be a little different." And he says, in the line of real estate, it's about connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a textbook process. Every circumstance, every scenario, every decision you make is going to be unique.
Mm-hmm.
Not all transactions are equal, and this,
Yes.
right? So you got to know how to balance, navigate, handle all types of situations, because it's that up and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when he mentioned that, it just resigned with me, and it just like brought me like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole semester, it was about war stories. That's all he would talk about, war stories. But it was like, have you ever seen the Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Okay, the original Karate Kid.
Yeah. Wax on,
Wax on, wax off, right? Well, Mr. Miyagi, right, in the movie is telling Daniel LaRusso, right, that he wants to learn karate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he has them do all these jobs, right? Waxing the cars, paint the fence, sand the floor, right? And then he got annoyed when he had to go back, and there's a sign that says paint the house, right?
Yeah.
And then he got frustrated because he was sore and tired. It's like, I thought I was going to be trained to do karate,
Right.
right? But it was an example of his exercise and his mentality, that the master, right,
Mm-hmm.
knew that he was preparing him mentally, physically, and emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
right? The essence of the story is kind of echoes of what the instructor told us, right? is, yeah, you know what, you're going to pass this class, but I do it in a different way than your traditional way of doing real estate practice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we still had to take a quizzes, we still had to take a midterm, we still had to take a final, but that was one of the classes that it just to this day I still tell the story
Mm-hmm.
because it was this individual leader that had a different
Help
approach
open
in
it
a
up.
way, the way he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was also an owner of a real estate franchise
Oh,
back then, you know, a big real estate company out in the Hacienda Heights. And, you know, it was just so fascinating how he was able to, you know, just kind of control the audience. And it's kind of similar to what we do when
mm-hmm.
it comes to working with buyers and sellers,
Yeah.
right? Is know how to control the narrative of the circumstances because the moment that the buyer and the seller take control, it's game over, right?
Oh my goodness.
You know, so that kind of resonates with your ability to kind of navigate these conversations and, you know, really get to the finish line because the goal always is, right, is to close the deal, right?
Yeah.
So now you got your real estate license and now you're ready to work. How was your first year in real estate?
The first year was all right. So my goal was to at least try to close one deal a quarter. I didn't. I closed two deals the whole year. So I just carried the two over. And last year started rough. The first three deals all canceled, all
Mm,
three of them, two within a week of closing. And I didn't know what to do with that. It
yeah,
terrified me. I wasn't prepared
sure.
for my deals to fall apart. I'm still not sure why my buyers canceled or what exactly turned them, but moving forward, I wanted to make sure that I did better with explaining things and really staying the course. That would have been the difference with those three deals. If I would have just communicated better, pushed my both the client and the listing agent in keeping things clear, I think those deals would have been able to close. But
Yeah.
that's the lesson learned, right? So
Well, and we
no
all,
more.
yeah, and we all have our moments, right?
Mhm.
The way I see it is, look, we got to start somewhere, right? We're not going to know everything,
No.
especially our first 90 days, our first 6 months, or heck, even our first year, right? It's kind of the bumps and bruises, right? It's kind of chucking away.
Hmm.
And I get it, you know, a lot of us, you know, who had started real estate, you know, it took momentum before they actually started seeing results, right?
Hmm.
But it's kind of, in my opinion, is like you mentioned, is how do you navigate the conversation? Because
Yes.
most agents use you know, strategies and negotiations, and then other people, it's the emotional component, right? They're kind of in the chaos of the emotional aspect, just like their clients are, if it's the buyer or the seller, right? We got to be able to, you know,
That's the key.
pull away from that and stay to the facts of the contract, right? And in
Yes.
essence, you got to be able to kind of mold what your clients do as well, which, you know, sometimes is challenging, right? Because when you have a an emotional or very strong buyer seller, it makes it very difficult. And trust me, I deal with this on a regular basis, and I understand. Sometimes you just got to mirror, you got to kind of mold yourself
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get to the finish line. But it's
Mm-hmm.
always a learning lesson because I can tell you so many deals that agents um, were not able to close because of cancellations.
Mm-hmm.
You learn from those, and then how do you improve from
Yeah.
that, right? And I think that kind of resonates with you is like you had three cancellations.
Yeah, back to back. It hurt,
Yeah,
broke my
that's
heart. I didn't even understand it. And what you just mentioned, I was not prepared when I got into the business for the emotional aspect. Because when I purchased my home, I was not emotional.
really,
I was excited. I knew what I wanted. I ran all around town. And so now that I am dealing with more the emotion part, which now I completely understand, I get, and I just comfort my clients through it. And now I'm not canceling deals anymore, so that feels good.
yeah. Well, it's a good feeling, right? Because you're
Mhm.
trying to push your clients to get to the finish line, right?
Yes.
And that's what separates individual agents that understand now how to move forward and navigate. And, there's times that, yeah, unfortunately, the deals fall apart, but you got to take control of it, right?
Yes,
And you have to also understand when to say no, and when to say yes as well, right?
yes,
Because in this industry, um, as easy as it is to go through the motions and get into real estate, it's very easy to also give up,
yeah,
and a lot of agents unfortunately do end up giving up,
yeah,
So after those three transactions that fell apart, how did you feel?
like a failure.
Tell us a little
I
bit more about that.
I felt like a failure. I wasn't sure if I was serving my clients in analyzing the deal. I still was not sure exactly what threw everyone off. It's weird. I One of the cancellations, I was able to get into a property later in the year. And throughout the year, they kept going back to the first house they canceled on, which
Interesting.
again proved that it was completely emotional and maybe a little fear.
Yeah.
So once I just dug deeper into, well, why do you want to cancel? What makes you afraid of this purchase? Where's the issue? And the more I just speak with them and talk to them, give them the information, if I just keep giving them information, they can make the good decision.
Yeah.
And now we're just working through closings now. So
Beautiful. So the three transactions, did you represent the buyer or was this
yeah,
seller?
they were the three, they were buyers
They were
back to
buyer.
back.
Now let's kind of how did you get these clients? Was it past clients,
Uh,
friends, or
Both.
okay,
The three cancellations, one was a personal friend, and then two was a referral. So I have a relationship with the lender.
okay.
So I get a lot of buyers from there. 70% of my deals came from my referral deal. Yeah.
That resonates with me because I always tell agents, hey, start connecting with lenders, right?
Yes.
It's what we call the B2B, business to business relationship, and it's vital and important. We always say go after buyers, go after sellers, go after investors, go after developers, but we're also missing a percentage of the partners, right? You
Hmm.
also give clients to lenders,
Yes.
so it's that conversation is if I send you a buyer to get pre-qualified and you happen to have a client that is looking to purchase but it's not working a real estate
Hmm.
agent, can you
So,
pass them on to me,
yeah.
so that's awesome.
Yeah. And my first year in real estate, I went to a seminar. I ran into a lender, and I learned that a lot of the large banks had referral programs. But I couldn't be a referral agent because I needed 2 years experience with an average of 10 closings a year. So for me, that is what motivated me to just get active, get going, build a pipeline, and hustle through because I'm trying to build my average
Yeah,
so that I can have more lender relationships. So
yeah, I
I'm
love that.
just at it.
No, that's great, because as we, get the momentum of the first quarter of 2026, I think you already have a vision of what that looks like.
Yeah.
And it's the consistency, but what you said, it's the hustle, right?
Yeah.
And most of the people on the call, trust me, are a bunch of strong hustlers
You
here.
got it.
We got a lot of great agents here that see the big picture and understand the elements of what we do. Real estate is, simple, but not easy,
No.
right? So take us through, you had three difficult cancellations, but take us into a real estate transaction that was a good win for you.
So we can go right into the fourth transaction of the year. I had a client, she thought she was 3 months out from purchasing, but through our conversation, she was ready right now. We got started, and the win was she wanted a neighborhood that was kind of outside of her budget. I was able to find a home that had been on the market a minute and had a price reduction.
Mm,
So I called the agent, talked to him about my client, and requested that they give us a little credit so that they can keep their little dollar amount for the MLS and get my client into the house. And it worked. So I was so excited, and it just fired me up to keep going. Like,
yeah.
just talk to the agents and
That's right.
make the friends,
Yeah.
and get through it.
Yeah, it's like an interview process, in my opinion.
Hmm.
You're trying to sell yourself not just to your clients, but you're trying to sell yourself to the listing agent,
Everybody,
everyone. Right?
the lender.
It's a group effort, right? At the end of the day, and most top agents obviously understand how that works. It's we're all here together. But the beautiful
Yes.
thing is the way I see it, it's like this cup, right? This cup is here. This is you. You're the driver of this bus, right? And then you've got all of these people behind you. You're controlling this, right? But you have all these people behind you supporting you, right? If it's not your lender, if it's not your home inspector, right? If it's not your escrow company,
Mhm.
right? They all rely on you, right? And the reason I say they rely on you is when you submit an offer, right? Now, the listing agent is this here, right?
Yeah.
You got to sweet talk that listing agent, right? Ask the right questions,
Yes.
right? And, ultimately sell yourself on why they should pick your client's
Yeah.
offer, right?
Right.
And it takes a little bit of everything, right? Know the process, know negotiations, but really is communication,
Yeah.
and
Engagement first.
I think you have that
Oh.
ability to do so because the minute that I met you, I just knew, you're going to be a rock star. Yeah, you have a contagious smile that just resonates with a lot of us here in the office. And it's like, okay, here comes the sunshine coming in.
Thank you. That's
So,
exciting.
and that really just kind of echoes for all of us, right? Because it's kind of a two-way street, in my opinion, right? In our industry, we're in sales.
Yeah.
We got to sell the brand, and it's not real estate you're selling.
No.
It's us,
Yeah.
your brand.
Yeah.
People will do business with you when they like you and trust you
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So on your fourth transaction, you finally get the deal done.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
And then just took off.
Yeah. And then consistency, hustle, and all
Mhm.
of that, all of the above. Awesome.
I think the dots just connected. I understood more. You hear systems, you hear talk to the listing agent,
Yeah.
but what does that mean? Right. So I just had to figure out my version of communicating and selling the client, selling myself
Yeah.
to the listing agent.
Love
So
that. That's awesome. Do you have any specific system in place? And take us a little bit of what your daily looks like.
it's crazy. Yeah, so I start off my morning. So I kind of organize myself the night before so I know what calls I need to make in the morning, who I need to follow up on. Um, Right now, I'm a little busier because I am trying to break into a couple neighborhoods. So I've been working a lot on marketing and setting up plans. So my calendar every day is building CRM, working on a mail or working on a handout or a leave behind, figuring out my door knocking schedule, calling and touching base with all of my clients to just see where we are, when are who's ready to go. So it's just a constant that, and then chasing the new ones, right? Because
Yeah.
someone has to go.
So what I'm hearing is get to work.
Yes,
Get to work.
all of it. Right. I have a friend, she told me, with business, expand always in always. So that's always where I'm at. Don't do business in a box. Figure out
Yeah.
where you can make a difference or where you can fit in, just push through.
Yeah. I love that. Push through and one step forward all the time.
Always.
And it resonates with me too, Cheryl, is that, agents will say, I'm busy, you know, but then you have other agents that are busy, but they take action and you see the results. Because we can be busy and we can say, oh my gosh, it's been a tough day.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to look at every parameter of your schedule, right? And
Yes.
part of it, as you mentioned, is you're trying to niche into a specific neighborhood, right? And farm that neighborhood. There has to be consistency in that, right?
Yes.
You also mentioned about marketing as well, right? There has to be consistency in marketing, right?
Yes.
If you're trying to navigate and build a platform of potential opportunities with a specific area or neighborhood, it's going to take that consistency that
Mm-hmm.
most agents fall short, and I think you're gonna do really, really well on that,
Oh, thank you. I'm
so
trying.
yeah. Well, praying is obviously good as well, but the hustle is really
Yeah,
what sets us apart, right? Because
absolutely.
without that mindset, you're not going to see the results, right?
Right.
For me and for a lot of people, I was not a big cold caller or door knocker, but I love doing open houses. And for the good of it and for the bad of it, there was great open houses and there were some really crappy open houses as well. But I stayed consistent with it, and that's how I started building my pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it was where I had enough business that I can push me consistently month after month, year after year,
That's the
where I
goal.
was able to, know that, where the income was coming, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you don't stop, right? And I think that's what kind of puts you from last year, to the end of last year, the fourth quarter, just
Yeah.
momentum,
Mm-hmm.
where you became a capper.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's your ability to just go out there and just do what you need to do,
Yeah.
you know? And I think what really helped you too is, coming from the lending, it's all about customer service, right?
Yes.
So when that transitions into real estate, it's kind of natural, right?
Yes.
And now it's just knowing the lingo, as you mentioned, about the lending aspect of it. Now you got to have the lingo of real estate
Yeah.
conversations.
Defining. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And what do I want to say? It's it's very much I explain to my clients all the time that this is a service, that, I am not special. I am here because of them, you know.
yeah,
And I want for them to understand it's 100%. I'm here to serve you. So we stay tight, stay with the communication and get them to it. So
yeah,
that's always the goal.
yeah. So what does 2026 look for you?
I have big goals. I'm pushing myself. Um, I'm already a little late. This year, I am trying to balance my business out. I am mostly buyer. I'm mostly a buyer's agent, and I want to become a listing agent as well, or just to do both. So this year, I am hustling to work on getting to listings and breaking into the neighborhoods that I've chosen and that I love. And hopefully, I'll get a chance to be a resource and serve.
Well, there's no hope. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna definitely happen. If you're doing what you're saying, then it's a matter of time, in my opinion.
Oh,
And it kind of resonates with me with one of our agents here in the office that he also had that mindset. He wanted to hit a specific neighborhood, and he consistently just went out and did what he needed to do, and now he controls a lot of the market share from that
yes,
for that
that's
neighborhood. And the beautiful thing is that this was an area where a lot of top season experience agents, not just from our office but all of the South Bay, is known. And
mm,
he's one of them that's up there, up on the top tier with these
that's
top agents as well. So it's definitely something that you can do. It's just, again, the consistency of going out there, introducing yourself, passing
mhm.
out your information, all of the basic stuff that we always tell our agents to
Yeah,
do, right?
yeah,
But if you're not doing the exercise, right, you're not going to see the results,
yes,
right?
true.
And now more so, as you mentioned, you want to be more seller, right? You want to get more listings. Yeah, I mean, that's great because it's kind of a cruise control when you work with more sellers. I love working with buyers, right? But if listings come our way, it's even better because you can control the market as well.
Yes, well, that's what I'm learning, right? Then you control the price point, right?
Yeah,
So that'd be awesome. I'm excited, so I can't wait.
yeah,
You know, so I've been door knocking and collecting my little data to try to figure out who's next, where they are.
yeah.
You know, Easter egg hunting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, with all of the events coming on, in the next several months, That's a great pitch and a conversational piece, right? It's not like you have to talk about real estate, right? It's just about connecting and saying, "Hey, how you doing today?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that resonates because people will remember stuff like that,
Yes,
right?
they do.
That be that pushy real estate agent. Yeah, provide data as well is crucial and vital because you want people to know, hey, I'm here to work and earn your business too. As well.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I've been door knocking and I feel that is more my style. I think I am better in person than over the phone. I don't think this voice
Yeah,
carries well over the phone. So I do love the door knocking. And it's funny you say that because during my last round last month, I did have some of the residents say, you look familiar
yeah,
because they are also receiving my mailer. So I'm starting to, I feel like get a little traction, at least be recognized, right?
yeah.
Because that's the goal.
Love that. Final thought before we close. Anything you'd like to share with the group?
No, I hadn't thought about like what to share, but I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about where my business is going. I love the family here, the training, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah. We're going to see you also one more time consistently year after year.
I hope.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for taking the time on a Friday morning to be part of this. We really appreciate you. And then the last is Super Bowl. Who are you going for?
I'm scared to pick. I'm very excited for a good game. May
I
the
love,
best team win.
love that. All right. Well, thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. All right. Well, that concludes. Thank you, everyone on Zoom. Appreciate you all. Happy Super Bowl weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Is it off?